G'day there guys, Markee here, ready to dispel the rumors that I am being held against my will in an insane asylum. This is unfortunately just a nice little recording studio, but thank you for your concern on yesterday's video. Anyway, while I've got you here, I hope you're ready for some more fun Reddit stories. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, let's get right into it. Posted by user Real Chinese Food, titled, "Am I the asshole for cooking my boyfriend's family Chinese food instead of Chinese food?" I was born in China, but my parents and I moved to the West when I was little, so I was raised mostly Westerner, but my parents still managed to teach me many Chinese traditions, including food, and I sometimes still cook what they cook. So I've been with my boyfriend for about 3 years, and he lives with me at my place. This Christmas, his family, mum, dad, sister, and nephew, came to visit him from his birth country, Spain, for the first time in years. I was excited because I never had a chance to meet them in person. They arrived a few days before Christmas. He went to pick them up at the airport while I was working, so when I came home, they were already there. The meeting didn't go as well as I would wish, because the little nephew, as soon as he saw me, started doing the eye-stretching thing. He was immediately reprimanded by his mum and grandparents, but the following days, he made a lot of racist jokes in Spanish like, what do you call someone who doesn't take a shower in Chinese? Xin shampoo, without shampoo. And he was barely reprimanded for that. Besides that, Christmas went great, and the next day we woke up very late. The nephew started saying that he wanted Chinese food for lunch, so my boyfriend's parents asked me if I could make it. I said sure. I was glad to do it. I cooked something that my parents would do in special occasions like these, and served the table in a very traditional way, with chopsticks and everything. Then I called everybody to the table and instantly saw their disappointed faces. The nephew said, "What is this?" To which I said, "Chinese food." He grunted and said, "No, it's not," and started to throw a fit. His mum calmed him down, then the boyfriend's parents told me, "This isn't what we were expecting." So I asked them, "What did you expect?" And they replied, something like what they serve at restaurants. I tried to explain to them that this is something that actual Chinese people eat, but they wouldn't listen. They dressed up and went outside to eat at a restaurant. My boyfriend stayed home, but then called me stupid. He said, "You knew exactly what they meant by Chinese food. I'm trying to make you look good in front of them, but you're not helping me by playing dumb." I asked him to explain himself better, but just shouted, "When people say Chinese food, the last thing they expect is white rice. Get an effing clue," and locked himself in our bedroom. Since that incident, they started to speak to me like a toddler, over-explaining everything they asked me to do, and stopped correcting the nephew's racist behavior. I tried to tell my boyfriend to tell them to stop, but he said, "This is your making. Now they think you're brainless." This continued until they left yesterday. My boyfriend and I now barely talk, and I wonder if it's really my fault and if I should have known better. In the comments, OK Job says, "Not the asshole. They're from Spain. If you asked them for food from their country and then afterwards was like, no, I wanted the type of stuff that you'd get from Taco Bell, they'd lose their shit. Yes, I'm aware that Taco Bell isn't Spanish food, but people do understand that racists lump everyone together, right? They would just assume that OP's family is Mexican because they ignore every other Spanish-speaking country. They also interchange Spanish and Mexican. They are racist, and so is your boyfriend. I'd cut the cord and find someone who can appreciate your culture." Edit to add, he might not be the full-blown cartoon villain racist, but he does have some racism in him. His nephew was making racist behavior, and he didn't correct him. He belittled you for not making the right kind of Chinese food, flipping out about serving white rice, when it seems pretty standard to have white rice come with Chinese food takeouts. It feels like he's gaslighting you by trying to make this your fault for their racist behavior. He might not have shown you that side before, but he did now. Despite OP's protests, her boyfriend is racist. Why she's okay with that is beyond me. She doesn't need to get a clue about Chinese food. She needs to invoke some self-esteem and get a spine, because this is bullshit. When your partner's family treats you like shit, either your partner ditches the family or you ditch the partner. Prioritizing the needs and comfort of racists is in itself racist, and OP should remind herself of this. It's when things get tough that people show you who they really are, and what her boyfriend showed her is that when things get tough, he sides with racists and gets verbally abusive. That's who he is. Not the asshole, but please dump this racist loser and his whole racist family. I'm sorry, but traditional Chinese, or any Asian food, is amazing, and they don't know what they're missing. Anyone who tries to pin their family's abuse of you on you is just as bad. This is really telling. I'm trying to make you look good to them. I'm sorry, but they came into your house, and it's expected for you to have to kiss their ass? No, dump the whole trash family. I would serve the boyfriend an eviction notice via text, SM, email, and verbally. Then I'd give his family 30 minutes to pack up their shit and leave before calling the cops on them for trespassing. Quote, when people say Chinese food, the last thing they expect is white rice. The last thing they expect is white rice? What culture doesn't expect rice with Chinese food? People who only go to Panda Express and therefore choose fried rice and noodles. I mean, it's not even a side dish. Rice may as well be a plate. That's how essential it is to Chinese food. Even Panda Express has white rice as an option for the sides. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around this one as well. I genuinely don't understand how they can be so dumb and ignorant to think that white rice isn't a Chinese food. Maybe like all the brown rice they've been seeing in those TikTok trends where English people bring out quote-unquote, let's have a Chinese then, that kind of food. Maybe I can see that one, but they're just carb loading. They're just bulking for winter. Perhaps that kind of Chinese food is what they were thinking of in their little racist brains. But I don't know. That's just a theory. A racist food theory. I really do feel for OP in this situation. And since he's living with you at your place and they're actively disrespecting you, they're letting this nephew continue to make racist jokes at your expense, in your face, I just take them all, put them into a basket of assholes and kick them into the ocean. What currently is your monkeys does not need to be your circus. Therefore, get rid of them. And now, onto the update, titled, Update About My Boyfriend. Hi, it's me. I'm alive. I'm sorry for disappearing for so long. A lot has happened in the last weeks. Sorry if I'm not very detailed. I'm very tired today. For those who already know my story, my boyfriend allowed his family to be racist to me. After his family left, I tried to break up with him, but he wouldn't let me end the relationship. I tried talking to him, but he would say something along the lines of, I'm not breaking up with you. And this is not a gun. This is just a thinly veiled threat. Get out of my house. I talked to my family about it, and they were furious at him, and I had their support, especially my father. I'm so glad that they were by my side. I went to my place with my father to confront my boyfriend and break up once and for all. He didn't take it well. He shouted that I can't break up with him, and he won't end the relationship. And that's when my dad intervened and they started fighting. Like, fist fighting. My dad ended up being hurt, but he also landed some punches on my boyfriend. I was horrified, crying, screaming, and with no idea of what to do. My boyfriend then grabbed me, got my purse, and took me out, and my dad followed me. My keys and phone were in the purse, so I couldn't go back in. He locked himself in, and we started hearing him breaking stuff. Then Dad called the police. They arrived like half an hour later. During that entire time, we heard him breaking things. When the cops finally arrived, they tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't respond. So they broke the door down and, after another fight, they arrested him. I walked into my place with my dad and another cop, and everything was destroyed. Everything he could break was broken. From glasses to plates to mirrors to holes in the wall, every TV, my computer, my phone, the coffee maker, etc. Dad pressed charges immediately. I was terrified, and I am still terrified. We had a trial, and he's in jail now, but I think he might be deported to Spain, I'm not sure. I'm still in therapy and still living with my parents. Some of my stuff was repaid, but I'm still not ready to come back home. Sometimes I still wake up crying in the middle of the night. I don't know if I regret standing up for myself, or if I'll be able to trust people in the future. I might die alone without a husband or children, and that makes me sad. I had suicidal thoughts, but I find things that make me want to stay alive. I don't know when I will feel good for real, but progress has been made. Oh, and ex-boyfriend's family is still trying to reach me to insult me and make me feel even worse for sending him to jail. I block them, but they always find yet another phone number to call me from or a temporary email address. If you are reading this, thank you. In the comments, Barley Sully says, "I'm so incredibly proud of you. You are a domestic violence survivor. You and your father stood up to your disgusting abuser and finally got out of that awful relationship. This was so important for your health and safety. You did everything right. I'm so sorry you've had to endure so many terrible crimes. He never should have assaulted you, your father, or your personal belongings. He is a sorry excuse for a human being. Please be sure that you hold nothing back when pressing charges, and ensuring you get as much back as possible, and that he goes to jail for as long as possible. Finally, please take care of yourself now. Do things you love. Reach out to friends, pursue hobbies, go to a spa, take a vacation, binge your favorite TV shows. You must live your life to the fullest and never let someone like him in your life again. Be proud of yourself. You are so strong." No, OP, say it with me. I did the right thing standing up for myself. Your ex is a lunatic, along with his psycho family, and you are so much better off without them. Please don't let this prevent you from having a good life. I promise you, there are people who will treat you with all the respect that you deserve. You made the right choice, and in the future, you will look back and be so proud of yourself for leaving. And now, onto our final update, titled, I'm Alive. Hi, I hope you remember me. I just wanted to stay in touch a bit. I'm doing kind of okay, except for the attempt that I had. I'll tell you about it. I kept going to therapy, and there I realized my relationship with my ex was way worse than I realized. I'm stupid for ignoring all the red flags on him. It turns out our sex life wasn't as consensual. I never really liked sex. I always found it gross and hurtful, but he had a higher sex drive, and when he wanted to do it, my opinion was irrelevant. I thought it was consensual because I just let it happen without truly fighting against it. I thought I just had to do what he wanted because that's how relationships worked, right? If I didn't please him enough, he would just go and have it with another girl, right? Except he gave me an STD, so he was messing around with other women anyway. At least it's not AIDS and is curable, but still, knowing I sacrificed myself so much for him to gain nothing and get an STD sucks so much. I felt so broken, unlovable, and worthless, and that's when I tried to end my life, but my parents saved me. I was in the hospital for some days. For the first time in my life, I hated my parents for saving me. But when I went back home, I just hugged them and begged them for their forgiveness. But my dad said that there was nothing to forgive. My mum sometimes sleeps with me, and we cuddle together, and it's kind of shameful to feel like a little child because of it, but I feel loved. My ex is being deported. I had to see him a few more times at the courts until I just couldn't anymore. And now a final verdict was given. He'll be out of this country soon. His family has finally stopped the harassment, too. My current coping mechanism is watching Asian dramas and crying while seeing the cute relationships they have that I probably won't. I'm writing this as some desperate attention-seeking attempt. Through my previous posts, I got so much support that I didn't think I deserved, but now I appreciate those kind words a lot more, and I would like some more. I sound pathetic, but I don't care anymore. I swear I'm getting better. Thank you all. In the comments, Kesna Green says, I'm so glad to hear that you're safe. Please just remember that you are not a burden, you are not stupid, and you are not alone. You have people in your life who love you more than anything and the inner strength to keep going. And I mean it when I say that you're not stupid, and please don't call yourself that. Being taken advantage of, or abused, or being in a dark place does not make you stupid. You've already won so many battles. You're a seasoned warrior by now, a goddamn superhero. So never call yourself stupid or think that you're not worth the effort it takes to heal, because you would be doing yourself a massive disservice. While I'm glad to hear that he is being deported, my heart breaks at the price that you had to pay for it to happen. He is a waste of space, a sad excuse of a man. Not even a man, a monster. The things he did to you are just evil. I know it's been hard, and I'm glad your parents came just in time, and I'm glad and happy that you're alive. Do you know what it means? It means that he didn't win. You survived his physical and emotional abuse. You are a survivor. He couldn't completely break you. And while there are some chips and scratches to your armor, you will slowly build yourself up and rise again. Girl, you are worthy to be loved. You are worthy to be cared for. You are blessed to be surrounded by parents who are present and who love and care for you. As for now, make yourself a priority. Take care of yourself. Take your time, one battle at a time, one day at a time, and don't rush anything. You are a survivor. You are strong. You are loved. Edit. Also, F you, Xavier, you son of a bitch. You effing coward. I was going to read more comments after this one that talk about the series as a whole and about the racist family and Chinese food and everything like that, but really the tone has completely switched for me here. I don't know, when you get to places like this that are as deep and as tonally changed as this, it's really not a time for jokes, but what I can gather as extra information from that is that the nephew was 12 years old. It's kind of irrelevant at this point because there is so much more that's happened here. I'm genuinely so sorry that you had to go through all of this, OP, and others that have had to deal with things like this. It's not easy. That was very dark. You say at the end of your post there that you sound pathetic, but you don't care anymore. You swear that you're getting better, and thank you. And thank you for sharing that with us, OP. I don't think you're pathetic. I think that you will get better, and I think you will rise above this. This all was not some desperate attention-seeking attempt. If anything, it could be the help that someone else out there needs in their own dark kind of situation that they're dealing with. I don't really know how to end this one, personally, besides, thank you for sharing that with us, OP. I really hope that you are doing better now. And yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that one. Our next post is by user Jenna GL, titled, I, female 17, found out that my mother is cheating on my father. My mum and dad are both 42 years old and have been married for 20 years. Well, my notebook broke and I had to do some research for school, so I asked my mum if I could use hers. She gave it to me and I went to do some research. While I was on the internet, a message appeared and I could read the phrase, "Hi, love." I opened it thinking that it was my father's, and what I read made me sick. The message is from one of my father's friends. The guy is married, and I study with his daughter. So I looked at the history, and it has messages from at least 1 year ago, besides photos and videos. It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. My father takes my mother on dates, treats her very well, helps with chores and everything. I don't understand how she has the courage to do that with him. Well, he's traveling and will only come back tomorrow. I copied everything, email messages, photos, and videos, and saved it to show him. I'm trying to hide my feelings about it, but I can't look at her without feeling disgust. What I want to know is, how do I do this? Do I show it to both of them at the same time? Do I show him first and let him solve it? And my friend, her father is cheating too. Do I say something? Thanks. In the comments, Tony Tsunami says, I'm so sorry your mum let you find out. It's totally unfair of her to put you in the middle of this. Please don't do anything yet. First, find an adult that you trust to talk it through with. A counselor, teacher, someone like that. Probably not a relative or anyone else involved with your family. This is going to be a very hard time for you for a while, and just know that no matter how hard it is, it will get better sooner or later. And I'm sorry that some people here see fit to lecture or argue with you instead of giving you the support that any young person put in this terrible situation would need. This site doesn't look like the best place to get much mature help, does it? Here's the thing. You really don't know the status of that relationship, nor the reasons for the affair. Every affair tells a story, and although it is true that the story has something to do with the state of a relationship where betrayal takes place, the psychology of infidelity is actually quite complex, much more than the current moralistic conversation about it, where people are good, bad, or flawed, therefore dismissed as damaged goods. Pundits and gurus abound offering their take on, can I ever trust him again? Or, how to affair-proof your relationship? But too often good-intentioned advice misses the real issue. Most people just assume that cheating is about one thing, and one thing only. Sex. Clearly that's not the case, and if we've got that wrong, what other so-called facts about cheating are actually false? Your father may be great with your mom. Perfect. And that there might be the problem. I don't know, yet none of this matters. What does is that you need to come to terms with what you're going to do. There is no right decision here, only what is right for you. You can't control either parent, only your own instincts. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Aurelius. Hey, I was named after that Marcus Aurelius guy. OP says, what is right for me is that he knows the truth. Then do that. Everything else is window dressing. If you want to be kinder, perhaps tell her that you know and give her the ultimatum to tell him before you do. In that way, you can have some objectiveness in what happens next. Yeah, I guess my take on the situation is you go to the father about the cheating situation first and get his take on it and be like, hey, I just want to make sure that you guys aren't in like an open relationship or something like that. You know, you guys are swinging and this is cool. Do you know about all this? Explain the whole situation and be completely transparent about it with him, and then talk about how you're going to approach, this subject going forward. That is absolutely what I would do in this situation, and I wouldn't let the mother know anything about what's going on behind the scenes before any damage control can happen, and she can, kind of sweep up any other cheating that's potentially going on as well. I guess the perspective of giving her the ultimatum before you do is also the kinder way to do it, but I don't know if it's the right way to do it. That's just me, though. I would rather always go to the cheated on party than the cheater party, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that need to know. And maybe they're the ones that can clear things up for you, but then it becomes a them problem and not so much a you problem. And now, on to the updates. Well, first I would like to thank everyone for the comments. Soon after I created the post, I got in touch with my older brother, male 24, and I told him everything. He was also shocked by all of this and told me to keep calm and that he would come to me. He lives in another city. He arrived that afternoon, and I showed him everything, but he was unable to see even half. He made a copy to keep safe and stayed at a friend's house so that my mum didn't suspect anything. The other day, my dad came home from a trip, and my brother and I took this opportunity while my mum was working to tell him. I said that I had found something in my mum's notebook and that I thought that he didn't know, and so I showed him. He started reading everything, and after about 5 minutes, he started to feel sick and vomited. My brother is in medical school, so he managed to calm my father, but he was in shock. We stayed there for an hour and started talking again. I asked him if he knew about this, or if they had some kind of agreement, and he said no. I already imagined it. I asked him if I was right to show him, since this was none of my business, and he said yes, that I am a part of the family, and I did the right thing. I asked him if I should tell my friend's mother, but he decided to call her and ask her to come here. She came with my friend, and my father told her everything, and she cried so much. She said she had a suspicion that he was cheating, but didn't know who he was with. She asked me how I found out, so I gave them their IDs, emails, and nicknames, and she went home to look. Later, she came back and it was the same thing. Started about 1 year ago, only that my mother was not the only one. He has one more woman, but nobody knows her. He told my mother that she was the only woman for him. I asked my friend for forgiveness for not telling her, but she said that I had nothing to forgive, that she understands why I did it. The night my mother arrived, she was scared to see my brother at home. My father asked her, and initially she denied everything, but when he insisted, she started crying and told the truth. My mother kept crying, saying that it shouldn't have happened, and my dad asked why. And she kept saying that it wasn't supposed to be like this, that she didn't want to hurt him, that my father was the only man for her, but she ended up letting herself be carried away by emotion, that the other guy meant nothing, that she eventually would stop and tell the truth. Yeah, right? She was begging him not to make any hasty decisions, and that she will do whatever it takes to show that he is the only man for her. During all of this, he didn't say a word. At the end of this, he grabbed a suitcase and asked if we were going to stay. I said I would go with him. So the three of us went to my uncle's house, who lives nearby. He cried all night. I told my brother that I wouldn't live with her even if my dad comes back, so he said I could live with him. This morning, she called me to talk. I didn't want to go, but my brother insisted. She said that it was never the intention to hurt my father, that she will do everything to be a better wife and mother. She asked how my father found out, and I said that I told him. She asked me how, but I didn't tell her. I said that I hope one day I can forgive her, but not now. I said I don't want her on my birthday or even at my graduation party. She started crying again, so I left. Some of you say that I see the world in a way that doesn't exist, that not everything is perfect, that I didn't know what my parents' relationship was like, and maybe you're right, that I'm just a naive girl who doesn't know how the world works. No matter what you do, you will always end up hurting yourself with a person who does not respect you, and that I am stupid to think that there will be a person who will like me and will never hurt me, who we will grow old together and die with the same love that we had when we met. I agree that I am stupid to think like that, but after yesterday, I also realized something, the damage that betrayal does, and I prefer to die alone than to do something like that with someone. But who am I to understand, right? I will not answer anyone because I already discussed a lot in the other post, so I'll try to answer something that I think they would ask. Do I regret it? No. Will my father try to reconcile? I don't know, but I don't think so. He already talked to a lawyer about divorce. Here, betrayal counts in favor of my father in divorce. Why didn't I talk to my mum first? Well, it just didn't make sense to do that. First, she had a year to tell the truth. What difference would it make for me to tell her first? So she can confess? Again, what would be useful? It would be a forced, meaningless confession. Sometimes people have to take a slap of reality to wake up for life. Have I always been angry with my mum? No. Until last Thursday, our relationship was perfect. How do I feel about destroying two families? Nothing, because I didn't destroy anything. They did it when they wanted to betray. But what if he was abusive or the best does not meet her needs? It doesn't matter. If he is abusive, you divorce him. But what about her needs? Okay, but what about his? By that logic, if she's looking for another one, it means that his needs are also not being suppressed and he did not betray. And a thank you and a kiss to the two people who sent me, I hope you die, and I hope your mother kills you. It was a great help, thank you. OP posted some updates in the comments, April 24th, 2020. Is still in the process, with COVID-19, everything stopped, but he wants a divorce. She's still trying to convince him, saying that she does anything, but honestly, at least for me, they are empty words of a desperate person. July 3rd, 2020. I discovered too that my mother was cheating on my father. I know how you feel, and honestly, I don't treat her bad, but I simply don't want a relationship with her anymore. And August 17th, 2020. Divorce. It's already final. Someone asks OP, and how is your mom? And OP says, a mess. In the comments, the Scarlet Witch says, what a mess. If someone is unhappy in a relationship, they should end that relationship before being unfaithful. OP's mum destroyed her relationship with her entire family. No, this is Reddit. You've got it all wrong and totally backwards. It's OP's fault that the entire family was destroyed, not her mum's fault. Brave girl. She's right. I can't believe, okay, I can, but come on, that people were telling her that karma would get her when she was a cheater, and that this is just how the world works. Assholes told me that shit too when I was a teenager, but I was right then, and she's right now. And I have made a good life without any of those horrible people in it, and she will too. Yeah, I stand by my comments before. I do think it was the right thing to tell him, and definitely not the right thing to approach the mother first in this situation. I have perused some of those comments, and I have seen what people have been saying that, oh, that's just how the world works. You don't understand. You're just young. How can people be that genuinely brain broken to excuse cheating to this degree? Absolutely baffles my mind, and I'll never understand it, but I didn't see this situation playing out in any other way besides the divorce. That's life, these things happen, and OP's mother was a horrible person for doing what she did. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!